Well, thanks for coming along anyway, Jethro, and for speaking for us. So can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your role at SmartStream?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Jethro MacDonald. I'm the product manager of AI and machine learning at the SmartStream Innovation Lab. So my role is to really look at where we can use the latest technology in our suite of solutions. So in the Innovation Lab, we primarily will look at how it will suit our latest solutions, but also how it can complement some of our other solutions that we have out there as well.
Okay. So there's a lot of talk at the event around artificial intelligence, which is obviously where SmartStream are working as well. How has SmartStream been looking to utilise this technology and machine learning as well?
Yeah, so SmartStream is a reconciliation specialist, which is a perfect use case for AI. You know, we have a lot of data sets that should naturally come together. So we're actually able to utilise that AI to tell us how that data comes together. So we can present that back to users and say, hey, we believe this comes together like this, is this correct? And then they can make the decision as to whether that's right or not. So it really improves that whole onboarding process when building new reconciliations. Then from a kind of day-to-day manual task perspective, when clients are manually matching data or they're working on their exceptions, we can learn from that behavior as well. So we use observational learning or machine learning to actually improve that process for them as well and suggest back different matches based on the criteria that they've already performed themselves.
Excellent. So what new capabilities and developments then has the company been working on recently?
So recently we've been looking at integrating with our RDU service, which is our reference data utility. So we've pushed out a solution where actually we're using reference data to help with reconciliations from a regulatory point of view. So one of the things that the regulation stipulates is that you have to have a reconciliation in place. But what we can do on top of that with our APIs and our reference data is actually we can validate reporting decisions as well. So we've looked to integrate that into our solution. And then on top of that, one of the biggest things that we're looking at the moment is all around big data. So we're a fully cloud native solution in SmartStream Air. So we're looking to be able to utilize the cloud technology to actually reconcile volumes that are unheard of in our industry. So that's really exciting at the moment.
Okay, and you've been working on some developments around the MiFID II transaction reports, but can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. So basically this is where, as I mentioned earlier, we have to report and do a reconciliation as part of Article 15 of RTS 22. And what we do there is we actually have partnered internally with SmartStream RDU, which is our reference data utility. And there we get a lot of reference data around whether a product should have been reported or not. So we've created the reconciliation to not only check from the source system right down to the regulator whether that data integrity is correct, but also to validate the reporting decisions. So should it have been reported, shouldn't it have been reported? And this is huge for clients. There's nothing in the market that's quite like this. And it's really quite noteworthy in the sense that the last recent fines with relating to transaction reporting have all been around over-reporting. So it's a key control for firms.
Excellent. And just for some background then, can you tell us a little bit more about the kind of MiFID II transaction reports and why these are so important to businesses?
Yeah, so MiFID II transaction reporting is basically 65 fields that clients, or up to 65 fields that clients may need to report as part of their daily trading activity. This is sent directly to the regulators, and it's an insight to the regulator on exactly what's happening in the firm related to their transactions. So here they might be looking for market abuse, or they might be looking for other things like who's involved in the trades and whatnot. But one of the important elements of that as well is also to have that reconciliation in place. So if you're a firm and you're over-reporting or under-reporting, you need to know that. So we give kind of clients the ability to check that as well.
So when it comes to, regulations and compliance in general, then do you see more firms turning to AI and data reconciliation when it comes to this?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the thing is with regulation at the moment, as changes come in, you're either asked to do new validation rule changes, which become a lot more complicated. You're asked to report a lot quicker, or you're asked to report a lot more. Some of those data sets are huge. And with the use of AI, you're able to streamline some of those processes, which is why it's a perfect place for regulation and AI to complement one another.
Excellent. And looking to the future then, how do you see the AI and ML space evolving, and how is SmartStream looking to remain at the cutting edge of that?
Yeah, so some of the things that we're actually looking at are things like using AI to ingest complicated data sets, such as things like PDFs. So actually scanning in documents that aren't just documents with a table-like structure in them, but actually scans of receipts and things like that. So we can utilize AI there to understand that data and present that to our system. As well as from an exception management point of view, so where users might be working on a day-to-day basis in their reconciliations, we're going to offer AI to actually help improve that overall process for them and therefore reduce the amount of effort that they need to spend doing those sort of things.